Hey everybody. Hey Evan, what's going on?
Hey man, how's it going?
Going good.
Can you see good on mine?
I can see you.
All right, cool. Cool. I'm gonna make sure my screen's not get so much dirt on my screen.
You sound a little quiet, but I could see you.
My sound fine. Okay, I'll try to talk loud. I don't know if I like this chair. I gotta change chairs. I didn't want my face being in it, but that's gonna set too high.
Yeah, I fix it so I don't have to have my face. I have the back on the back camera.
I didn't think about that. So it like sets in front of you?
It's a nice shirt.
What's that?
That says a nice shirt.
Thanks. My clean laundry selection is limited right now. I gotta find hooks.
So how you been out on the farm? Keeping pretty busy?
Oh man, today was nuts. Go, but it's good. How about you? How's things at home?
Just doing a homeschooling with the kids.
Oh man.
Not so bad.
Uh, Are you working or are you off right now?
I'm off right now.
Oh, okay. I'm losing stuff. I wanted to get in earlier to get everything ready, but
There's too much stuff to do on the farm to
gosh,
plan ahead on some little things.
it's just that's how it always works. We take each day the way it goes. Yeah, I hate that my face is right there.
Huh?
I hate that my face is right there.
I
Nobody wants to
don't think
look.
anybody really cares.
Nobody wants to look at that. Okay, man. Is it too high? Too low?
Um, well, you just picked it up. Man, all I could see is your face.
No. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Which one is?
It's a little on the low side, or the high side, I guess. Hard to...
Is that good?
That's good right there.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. Turn another light on.
All right.
Oh shoot! I never plugged my other light in. All right. Good.
I'm good. You ready to go?
Yep. Good to go. That's the size 12. What did you want to use for tails on these?
Whatever. In the photo, it looked like you were using hackle fibers,
Yeah, sometimes I
but I
use
think the
fake.
traditional is using the calf for the tail too, but whatever you want.
Sometimes I use spade hackle, and sometimes, if I can find it, I use groundhog tail. Uh, one of the shops here locally, that's what they always tied their flies with because it's really stiff. I can't find it right now, but we'll just go with spade hackle. Yeah. Right, so black thread, I'm using it is see if I can focus. Viva's 16-aught. I just like really tiny thread because I can put a power wraps on it, and that stuff is super strong because I've got clumsy fingers. So start thread off. And whatever way it works, sometimes I do the tail first, sometimes I do the wings first. We'll go with wings first. Calf body makes too much light. It'd be too much light. Calf body makes a really good wing. I don't think the fish care. It just
Hey, Hunt, what's going on?
looks a little bit more neat and even than calf tail.
Yeah, I have a little patch of calf body.
Yeah.
It's pretty clean. They're short though.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're short. You got to watch. You can't get too big with it. If you got to get too big, you're going to have to go with the tail. You start out with a pretty good sized clump. You know, that's probably about as big as a hook cap. And you really got to work those fine little guard hairs out. Sometimes you can use like a
I
little
like your
clip.
little flicking it technique to do.
Yeah, I just flick it. So, but you can use a comb and brush them out too. And then I always stack it. Sometimes they can be a little stacker. And that's going to need restack.
I guess maybe my hairs are a little too short.
Mine is too.
That's the bottom of the hair stacker. That's not where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think I finally got mine worked out pretty decent. And then I'm just picking a couple that are sticking out of there. And then always give another couple flicks because it just, those little tiny hairs will come right out. So I've got about a length of the hook for the wings. I always like to try to estimate where my hackle's going to be and stick it in the middle. Usually I end up going a little bit further forward than what I should, but the tricky part is holding that down and not getting it to spin because that calf hair will spin right around there.
I'm having trouble getting a good workable piece of calf hair out.
You want me to hold up?
No, go ahead. Everybody else, I'm sure, is fine.
So once you get your wing about where you want it, I mean, you can hold it up there, see where you want it to be, pull it back, and get a couple good wraps in front of it to dam it up, and then splay your wings out, see where you're going to want to make your cross wrap. Now I'm going to twist it away from me so I'm sure that doesn't help, but I'll twist it back. I hope you can't hear my kids too loud. They're going crazy right now. Somebody sounds like they're being massacred upstairs. So then you can see there's a bunch of little hairs that are sticking out. But I divided the wings into 2 different wings. And I always just take the scissors and clip those little guys that are sticking out. Get them off. Seems like calf hair is pretty messy to work with, but these are big bushy flies anyhow. So again, it's a fish thing. I don't think they care. I think it's a
No.
fish thing, but you can always give a couple wraps around the wing to strengthen them up, and then a couple X wraps.
I'm not having a great time with this.
When I was in college, I wanted to learn how to tie these flies. That had been 2010, and I think I spent one entire winter skipping classes and just tying these things. I don't know how many hundreds of these things I tied that I threw away, trash, before I learned, the ins and the outs of them. They're fun fly to tie, though, once you get the hang of them.
Dotson Fly Fishing says he uses calf tail, even though it's less pretty, because he's not good enough to work with calf body hair. I think I
Calf
might be on the same page as him. I should have gotten some tail.
it can be tricky to work with. It's just so short.
It's short and it's like smooth, so the thread's just kind of flinging off
It,
of it.
it's really slippy. So,
I'll figure out some way to get this thing to work.
oh, Matt's on here. What's up, Matt? Hunt, Matt, same person, different people. There's Dave.
This is not going to be a very pretty fly when it's done.
Hey, man,
No.
brookies will eat it. That's what I use these things for mostly, is brookies.
It's not going to be as pretty as it's supposed to be.
That's all right. It's pretty bad. I don't even have my own brown neck. I had to pull one off of the
You
card.
what?
I had to pull a brown neck off the cardboard that was curing in my basement.
I got one.
I know you have one.
I have a couple. One of them the
Couple
cat
brown?
destroyed, and
Couple.
then I got a replacement.
That's right. I remember that. That's been a couple years, hasn't it?
Since I got the replacement one,
Yeah. Well.
maybe a year.
Yeah. Okay.
This is like the worst looking wings I've ever seen.
It doesn't look that bad. And I'm using spade hackle for the tail. Like I said when we first started, I use groundhog tail a lot too. It makes a really good stiff tail. But we'll go with the spade hackle just for the sake of the video. Measure that about as long as the hook too. Do you want me to hold up, Paul?
No, you're right. I'm probably never gonna get this if you wait for me.
You can see the tail there is about as big, long as the hook. And it's going to actually work out that I don't even have to clip it. It went right in behind the wings, which doesn't happen too often, so I better play the lottery. And I always put copper wire on mine just because the peacock's so brittle and easy to break after a couple fish, you know.
Frank says he missed how to split the wing,
We'll do
and I
another
guess
one.
I did too, because I think I got about 4 wings.
We'll do another one. Okay, peacock. This is a size 12, so 2 strands is about enough. Unless you're wanting to be really bushy, I'll do 3, but I should just do 2.
When you're picking out peacock, do you like to use like a bag of hurl, or do you like to pick off of the eye?
I use a bag of hurl. Uh, the eyes are good too. I use them some, but for the most part, I just grab a bag of hurl. I probably got like 3 lifetimes worth of peacock hurl in my house. Why, I don't know. I just had to buy another bag in Lancaster. I got down there, realized I forgot it. So I went to Daddy's booth, it was right across the aisle, and I bought more. So, and then for the red floss, I'm using UTC 70. It's a little bit flat laying, but near the end on the bobbin. So it just seems to lay flat. Some people use floss. I like this thread. You can put a lot of wraps on it and not get too bulky and too clumped up. So.
I don't know if anybody else has realized yet, but this is the first time I'm ever trying to tie one at Royal Wulff.
Really?
Oh yeah,
It's actually your first time?
yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, I've tied plenty of flies. I've never tied a Royal Wulff yet.
Yeah. There you go. You're learning.
So anybody else might just be hopefully just as new as I am, and not too embarrassed either about how messed up mine looks right now and how
Oh,
slow it's going.
you're doing all right. I hope that's focusing all right on that fly.
I'm just using regular red floss.
So once you get your front hurl on, that's whenever I put the wire through. Like I said, it just kind of strengthens things up. Not really needed, but and mine is far from perfect too. Because to be honest with you, outside of twisting feathers on hooks, I think I might have tied maybe 5 flies since Lancaster.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. It sucks because I really like tying, but
Do you got Emmett and your kids tying with you?
oh yeah, they Emmett and Easton get down here. I actually have a couple of their flies. These are Easton's that he tied. I don't know. That's probably a couple weeks ago. Just easy stuff. Easton's all go. I think Emmett's going to be a little bit more patient with sitting there and actually doing it. At least that's the way it seems right now. It seems like every year or so they take a turn and they change a little bit more.
And both of my boys, it depends on their mood.
Yeah,
They like tying with me. They like
sugar
fishing with me. If they feel like doing it at the time.
if they feel like doing it at the time. That's right. It's tough. I'm using 2 feathers just because they're bushy. Uh,
I am murdering this wing. I should have gone with the size 4 like it says in the one book. But I definitely wouldn't have had the right size calf for that.
I still don't know what that would be for. That's huge. Is salmon maybe? I have no idea. So the hackle's about a hook gap and a half. Got that messed up. There's 4 turns on each feather. Uh, 4 turns on the first feather, and then I'll go through and go between wraps with the next feather. My hackle's a little bit huge. I didn't size it, I just pulled it.
I hope there's nobody watching this for the first time seeing me tying this as their first time seeing me tie. Because
It's
I'm
good.
really not this bad usually.
No, it's good. This isn't really an easy fly to tie. Like I said, I spent a whole winter learning how to tie these things.
I think the wing is what ruined me here the most.
And that wing, it's tricky. It's tough, and I think it intimidates a lot of people too. But so there's mine. The hackle's oversized a little bit too much. Like I said, I didn't size it. And it's not perfect.
I tend not to size my hackle anymore.
I
I just
usually
eye it up. It's probably a bad thing. I know a lot of guys don't like that, but I notice that so many hooks are so different. If you use like a hackle gauge, it doesn't really do anything justice.
well, I think hackle gauges are, they're all different too. Some of them are sized just a little bit different and stuff. I don't know. Like right here's one I just got the other day. This is a Dave Brant Hackle gauge. Uh, so this is a size 12 hook, and I actually have that size and a size 8 Hackle. It's pretty cool. It wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $10 or something like that. It came from China, so hopefully it didn't bring COVID with it. But you just pass your fly through. So my kids are still screaming upstairs.
Well, I bet you you'll still catch a fish, but I can't
Oh,
say
I've
it's my
got
favorite fly I've tied. There basically
okay.
is no wing left.
That's all right. You want
I
to tie
don't
another
think I
one?
put enough of a tail on there. I like the way the body looks, though.
Yeah, that part's so good.
It's got some work to do. Yeah, that calf is a new material for me, too, so
Yeah,
that's...
it's it can be tricky. I'll take another one if that's okay.
Anybody watching have any questions about it? Questions for Evan?
Yeah, by all means, ask away. Oh, these are pretty cool too. I picked one of these up. These are the Loon Ergo stackers. The bottom just drops out instead of having two different pieces.
Guess it keeps you from losing.
Yeah, I could be from losing. I had one for about 2 years. One of the kids had lost a piece to it, and somehow I found it. But once you get stacked, you just pull it apart, and then you breathe on it like I did and blow it everywhere.
Checkmate asks, did you tie before having your chickens?
Yeah, I tied for I was 12 when I started tying, and I got my chickens at about 22. So I had about 10 years in there before I got the bird. Actually, no, I would have been 21 when I got birds. Been 2011. No, it had been 2012, but I turned 22 in October, and that was in May. So again, somebody had asked about the wings. So hopefully you can see this good. I don't know. It might not work too good. But you measure them off about as long as a hook shank. And definitely want to, if you're using calf body, there's so much underfur to that stuff, little fine hairs that you end up losing, that you really got to work it down. But once you get it measured out to be about the length of the hook, with a couple good wraps on top, and then I like to run it back a little bit before I let go because you'll lose that whole business real quick. And
Are
then,
there any rules if I just want to grab a different hair other than this calf body hair?
no, man, use whatever.
I am having a hard time getting this in the stacker, getting everything. It's so short.
Yeah. Do you have a big stacker or a small stacker? If you have a smaller size stacker, it works better. No, there, I might have my wing actually a little bit big. Not much. So once you get work down, I always like to work my whole body down before I split so you don't lose it because This stuff is super slippy. And then pick at it again because they'll come out. If I grabbed that and pulled it, it probably still would come out. So, and then I put back and put a good thread down in front of it to get it to stand up. And then I split it, just about half. Try to get as close to half as what you can. Put a thread wrap between. So there you can see the start of it. There's a space there started. And then I take and wrap around each clump of hair.
I know that what I'm about to do now is definitely against the rules.
What are you using?
Antron. I can make it that right split wing a lot easier than I can dealing with that hair.
Hey man, whatever works.
I don't think the fish will notice,
No, the fish won't notice.
but I might get a lot of nasty comments.
No, you'll be alright. We'll let you slide. Well, I got a little bit too much wing on one side, but I don't really care. Dave, we're using calf body instead of calf tail. It just comes on a small patch.
My mom wants to know if you've ever used dog hair.
Dog hair? No, I've never used dog hair.
She used to have Siberian Huskies. They had a lot of extra.
Oh man, I should. We have a Pyrenees, and when we brush his undercoat out, oh my gosh, I can get a trash bag off of that thing. But there you can see the wings are split. Up those misbehaviors. Wax that thread. No, I don't do that. I don't tie enough to get into all that. But that might help your hair or your calf body stick down. So, and again, spade hackle is what I'm using. Groundhog tail works really, really good too. It makes a real good stiff tail. But you can see this spade hackles. When you flip the feather down, it really bounces back.
About how much fibers do you use?
For size 12, I probably got 25, 20, 25, something like that. And then I measure it off to be about the length of the hook. So now there, that one, it runs into my wings. So a little trick, Lauren Williams, I believe, was where I seen this. This would have been back, 2010, 11, somewhere in there in college. If you reach in and pull up, it'll actually expose a little space that you can slide your scissors in and cut that off right in there. It didn't work very good because it was just right up to the edge of the wings, but if it goes past it very far, that's a good one to do. So, and then bind that all down again. There you go, Paul. That was looking good.
Well, that's because I totally cheated on material.
There's no cheating.
It is against the rules, and I will be in trouble with a lot of purists.
You'll be all right. And again, I put brass wire on, or copper wire. Just to strengthen the peacock that goes on. And again, this is UTC 70. I just keep it on a bobbin. Some people use floss. I like just that flatter thread. You can bulk it up and not make it look real obnoxious or anything. Because I have a tendency to put a lot of material on that I don't need.
So how many birds you got right now waiting for the next harvest?
Now, tomorrow morning I'll get up about 3 and I've got to clean some pens out. I've got 3 groups of peeps that need to get moved. I've got another hatch coming off out of the incubator. They're actually hatching right now. Uh, so I'll probably kill about 30 tomorrow morning to skin for the rest of the week here and move those out into where they are. The peeps that they were hatched 2 weeks before Lancaster, probably 3 weeks before Lancaster. It might have been actually I think it might have been right before Valentine's Day. I'd have to look back to see, but they're getting big enough. They need out. It can be put on wire. I have to take the beaks off, but I can gather them back up to do that. But probably right now there's 750 peeps here.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe another 300 birds that need killed. And then I think Dave has 150 or 200 peeps at his place.
That's an awful lot of feathers.
What's that?
That's a lot of feathers.
Yeah. As far as birds to kill yet, probably, around 350, 400 to kill. And then, at least to skin. And then the breeders that are there. And then I'll actually kill all my breeders off here. Probably mid-May. I'll be going to Charlie's to get his breeders again. and I'll have to make room for them. It'll probably be 125 or 130 hens, and I don't know how many roosters. It'll just depend. Uh, I'd like to have 2,000 birds when I get done hatching this year, and then thin the hens out, uh, so I have more roosters to work with. Because I keep running out every year, year after year. It seems like I hatch more, and I don't have enough.
Is that a bad thing?
It's not, but it is at the same time because I'd really like to do the tying symposium. I planned on doing it last year, and I didn't have enough birds to do it. I think I had like 3 or 4 grizzly capes, and I wasn't going to go to that show with hardly anything. So what I did this year was I started hatching real early. We had that real mild winter, and my birds started laying earlier than they did the year before. So I hatched a whole bunch of eggs out early that hopefully I can kill them off and skin them right before the show and have them ready to go for the symposium in November. So that's the plan. Plans sometimes work, sometimes they don't. I don't know, with animals, it's you can do everything right and still do something wrong pretty easy. So this tape that I'm using, it's pretty short. This isn't one of the Collins birds or one of the Bob's birds. This is actually from the line of saddle birds that I have. And most of their necks actually go to Florida for saltwater. But they work. I mean, they're just a shorter feather.
Uh, Grudy207 asked, he said he missed the beginning. Is there a reason that you didn't start from the tail first?
I like to do the wings first. It's just maybe probably habit more than anything. Uh, but just trying to get that smooth underbody is always the most important thing to make it look pretty, anyhow, real pretty. But I would say sometimes I start with the tail, sometimes I start with the wing. I don't really have a preference either way. I think this hack was oversized pretty big too. It'll be about 2 times the size of the hook gap. And I use 2 feathers just to really use these more of an indicator than anything. Uh, they're an attractor pattern, they'll work for brookies and stuff like that, but it's not like we're using this to match a hatch or anything like that. But I want it to be able to hold up, a nice sized nymph underneath or something like that, so I kind of pretty bushy. And I'd coat it with Flyagra too or something. Did you ever use that, Paul?
I have not.
Pretty good stuff. It says on the bottle if your fly stays up for more than 4 hours, consult your physician. Consult your local fly shop. Called Flyagra.
What's up, Jim? I finished mine. It's prettier than the first one I did, but the body I kind of hid that second peacock.
It looks good.
This one broke the rules with the wrong wing material technically.
It'll be all right. I hope that focuses. I don't know if it will or not. Might have it too close and move my right side of the way a little bit. So, and there's a couple back there that need clipped off. If you want to make it pretty, just Wiggle your scissors in there. Carefully cut them. A few that stick out off. So
Yeah, that I could not get my calf wing to do that at all. I could hardly get my calf wing to stack, so
and this one's not perfect either. I mean, there's still, you can see there's a couple fibers that stick up out.
I think part of my problem is I had to order this calf online because you can't go out anywhere right now. All the shops are closed.
Pick it out. It's always nice to be able to pull something out of the bag before you bring it home.
Yeah. I mean, the fibers, the hairs are maybe a half-inch long.
Yeah. Here's one I tied this morning. I thought I better sit down and tie at least one beforehand.
Yeah, that looks good. I could trim mine up and that hackle off, but what's the craziest color hackle you've bred out so far?
I moved this one this morning. This one's pretty cool. This is barred rusty dun.
Oof.
I don't know how good you can see that, but it's. I don't know. It's different. And that's actually out of the saddle birds. That's a Collins color, but it actually came out of the saddle birds. So I was pretty tickled to see that. There's some weird stuff that come out this year. Some golden duns, some regular rusty duns. That's the nice thing about Collins birds. They're seeing what he does has been an eye-opening experience. Like whenever I go up there and look at how he sets up his breeding pens and stuff, it's like you're putting that rooster on those hens, and it's pretty cool. I've learned a lot from him just in a year. It's nuts. So.
Frank said, "Did you put hackle in front of the wing?"
Yeah, there's like one or two turns. My wings usually set a little bit too far forward, but it's not sparse like the Catskill pattern, like a quack would be, or something like that. I like
I love tying the Catskill patterns.
I like to fish these for brookies and stuff. I like my ghost barred ginger. That was a nice one. That was a pretty good. That was the first color, the first year I've had that color. Where it came out that washed out barred ginger. That was pretty cool. There's some cool barred duns and stuff. I have a few of them left to kill. But
Yeah, I have a lot of your feathers, so I know you got a lot of good stuff.
you've put supper on my table a couple times.
What's that?
You've put supper on my table a couple times.
Hey, that's fine. I could use your I could use up some of these feathers and bring some supper to my own table. That's how it works.
Yeah. Charlie's a great guy. Yeah, Charlie's a hoot. I really like working with him. He's taught me a lot. I really learned a lot off that guy.
Paul Osborne, Trout Waters NJ says his Royal Wulff looks like he stuck it in the light socket. It can't be much worse than this first one I tied here. I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to show it to you again. That wing is not a wing. It's almost like a parachute post.
That's a mono wing.
Yeah. And the hackle's a little sloppy. I guess it could be worse, the hackle. But there's hardly a tail.
It'll catch brookies. Guaranteed.
Stonefly needs your bar done.
Needs that part done. Yeah, there's a couple more.
Are you dying anything anytime soon?
I want to. I have a whole pile of stuff to dye. It's just getting the time to be able to stop and do it because I'm trying to kill everything that I possibly can to make room for the new stuff coming on. And with this time of year at the farm and everything, everything takes off all at once.
Yeah. Have you been? I saw your. Obviously, I used the one picture as the post. You got to go fish with Emmett, but have you been out fishing a lot at all lately, or?
No, I I've tried to plan a couple times. It seems like it's the same thing as last year. Last year, every time I tried to go, it would rain and mess me up. And this year we got out. I think I've gotten out one time. I wanted to fish on my way home from Charlie's. I thought, man, that would work perfect. I could swing down through Pine Creek and stuff. And I actually drove down through, but man, it was brown. They got a pile of rain before. And so I pulled in the parking lot and walked along, a little bit, and got out and stretched my legs because it's about a 4 hour drive to his place. So
Um, Trout waters, which Paul Osborne said, what's the tail material? You use spade
I,
hackle,
I use spade hackle.
and I just use some hackle fibers from the same cape I used for the wraps. Stonefly asks where in Jersey. I'm in Tom's River. The chapter is the Jersey Shore. It covers Monmouth and Ocean County. So that's Neptune. I work right near Neptune usually.
So how close are you to like Ocean City, New Jersey?
From Ocean City, I
Yeah,
think that's
New
like an
Jersey.
hour south of me, or a little less than an hour.
We used to go there when I was a
Not too
kid.
far.
Cool.
But if I wanted to go to like Seaside Heights and Island Beach State Park, that's 5 minutes down the road.
Okay, so you're pretty close to the ocean then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, does anybody else have any other questions for me or for Evan?
Feel free. You back, Paul?
I'm back. Yeah, it said I
Okay.
had a poor connection, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything else? Stonefly wants to know when that bar done hits.
When the bar says soon. Okay, what's your question? 717. Call me Prawn Jeremy. What's your question? What's it, what's it like blessed by the rains? He knows I like that song. I'd like to hear about the history of his birds and what his plans are. Oh, what's up, Kevin? Um, so I got my first bird from Idaho. That's the saddle line I have. And I run a few hundred of them. There's like 300 of those. And then I got to working with Jan Pickle, who has the Bob's Hackle flock. Um, I started working with him, I think it was around 15 or 16. I think it was 15, 2015. Um, he sent me up, or no, I went down and got him 60 eggs or something like that, and started out hatching with his birds that year. I've worked with them for a few years, and then in 2019 is whenever Charlie started working with me. He called me, told me he wanted to leave me his flock, which was really, really cool. Uh, and I've been working with him for a year. So I still have the Bob's Hackle flock, and I run Charlie's two separate. I've crossed the two also. Plans forward, I'm just going to try to keep growing steady every year. I don't know what my limit is. I'm sure I'll hit it at some point. I hope so, anyhow. And I'll back off some until I see what the kids are doing. Um, we'll go from there. If all three of them want to do this, I don't know how big we'll be in another 10 or 15 years. 10,000 birds, maybe. I don't know.
You get the whole Brant family in on the.
Yeah, we've dairied for the last 50 years, and my original plans were, if the boys wanted to come home to the farm, because I mean, we've been on our farm since 1866. It's been kind of passed down between generations and stuff. And my original plans were, whenever I had boys, I wanted girls to start with, and I never got girls. I guarantee if we had another kid, I'd have another boy. Uh,
I kind of got that same feeling in my house. I got two boys. I'm one of three boys. My brother has three boys.
oh man, you got a boy family.
Yeah.
See, my oldest sister has four girls. They never had a boy.
Oh wow.
But my original plans were, if the boys wanted to come home, we just expand the dairy. Well, I can't justify spending $750,000 to put more cows on and build a bigger barn to, make $15 or $20 milk. I go way too far in debt and never see myself out. So I think with birds, at least this is how I feel right now. If I can add birds on, it doesn't take very much to build a couple more pens and put birds on. In a few years' time, I'd like to build a barn like Charlie's. I don't know if you've never seen it in Mike Vala's Tying Catskill Dries. He has a picture of Charlie's barn. I'd like to imitate that and build myself a barn in a few years, just so I can be out of the weather working. Uh, but the sky's the limit. I have no idea where we'll be in another 10 or 15 years as far as bird numbers go. If none of the boys want to do it, I'll probably just still be 2,000 or 3,000 birds at that point. Like I said, if they want to do it, who knows?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and the
All right.
nice thing
Well, we're down to the last minute here,
oh
so
shoot, yeah, we are.
I guess
Time
I'd like
flies.
to thank you for coming on and teaching us this fly. I hope nobody laughed too hard at my attempt, but hopefully you all learned a little something. And thanks for coming on and telling us about your birds and everything else.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll see everybody next week. If you tied along with us, maybe share your fly, tag us in it, and thanks again, Evan.
Yep. Thank you.